I'm back with another makeup tutorial. The last time I did one of these was 6 months ago, and I think it's time for an updated one. I pretty much changed my entire style of makeup since then. I'm gonna try my hardest to go really in depth with it, but I feel like when I'm doing my makeup, I kind of just get carried away. I'm gonna try. First off, the most important thing is skin prep. I used to not do skin prep at all, and now it is the only thing I think about. I've already cleansed. These are the products I use after cleansing. First, I go in with the Beauty of Joseon serum that's almost out. This is my favorite serum in the world. The things that I look for in skincare are, this is gonna sound gross, but like a slimy texture. I really loved using snail mucin, which I don't really anymore because I ran out, but this has a very similar, it's not snail mucin, but it has a very similar consistency. I also really love this like algae serum from Osea. I really love starting with any consistency like that. I feel like it tightens my skin. This is the Dr. Althea Aquamarine Deep Serum. I promise I'm not applying the dropper to my face. I know you're technically not supposed to apply it like that, but whatever. I don't know how to pronounce it, but that's what it looks like. The last thing I apply is the Dr. Althea 345 Relief Cream, which I really love this stuff. I'm gonna go let this soak into my face for about 5 minutes because I notice a lot of pilling if I apply foundation directly after applying moisturizer. So I will see you in 5 minutes. Okay, before we go into more of the makeup tutorial, I think personally the most important part of beauty is hygiene. So thank you to Scentbird for sponsoring today's video. I have 4 beautiful scents that I'd love to show you guys. This is Zephrine by Liberty Beauty. This is Notes of Fig, which I actually don't think I have a perfume that has that note. Vetiver, Suede, Rose Centifolia, and Cedarwood. This is the vial of perfume. You'll get a 30-day supply of each fragrance, which I think is a really generous amount of time to see if you like the perfume or not. This is the perfect summer scent. That is very nice. I love that. The next fragrance is White Iris by Rosalino. This is notes of iris, of course, lemon, jasmine, orange blossom, and almonds. This one is so nice. It's really light and airy, which I love. Scentbird is super affordable and it minimizes that risk since you're not committing to a full-sized bottle of perfume that you might not even like. Also, really cool packaging. This is obviously the vial and inside of the case, but you can just snap them back on and then you can lock it, which I really love. Super small and easy to carry, easy to throw in a purse. Also, their selection of perfumes is super diverse. They have 900 plus fragrances to choose from. They have popular brands like Prada and Versace, but they also have more niche labels that maybe not as many people have. So you almost have like your own secret perfume, which I think is pretty cool. The next one is the Emily in Paris fragrance from Michel Germain. This one's super simple with pink pepper, raspberry, French rose, gardenia, and cashmere woods. Super florally, super yummy, super Emily in Paris. Good job, spot on. The last fragrance is Air of Clarity from Portals perfume. This is notes of caramel, coconut, ambroxany, musk, and tonka bean. I don't think I've ever smelled a scent as true to caramel as this one. That is caramel. I don't know how they did that. I feel like I would wear this to a bakery. Scentbird also has a quiz that encourages you to experiment with different fragrances and offers personalized suggestions based on your preferences. Your first month with Scentbird is only $9, and after that, it's less than $18 a month. If you're interested in trying Scentbird, scan the QR code or use the link below. And with my coupon code Hayley2, you'll get 55% off at Scentbird. Plus, you'll get free delivery to your door and a free case. Thank you so much to Scentbird for sponsoring today's video. I hope you guys enjoy this makeup tutorial. Bye. Alright, I'm back, and now we can get into the first product I use, which is the Ilia Super Serum Skin Tint SPF 40. I'm very much almost out of this stuff. I'm gonna pour it from the container. Whoa, okay, hold on. Then I take this It Cosmetics brush. It's a double-ended brush. I take the fluffy side and I really work this in to the brush. Now it's all worked into the brush, and then I can start applying it. This is a little too yellow for me. I still haven't really cracked down exactly what shade I am. I know I'm neutral. I think. I'm very pale. And then I'll go over it with my beauty blender just to make sure that there's no streaks and to diffuse any harsh lines. Next, I go in with Fenty Matchsticks in Amber Suede, and I put this on my forehead, on my cheekbone. I try to get it also like here. I don't do any on my jawline, but I will go in with bronzer and get that area just so I don't, you know, I match my neck a little better. And then I think I got this from Amazon. I don't even know what brand this is. I try to be very good about not rubbing. I've learned to blend upwards, and I try to stay in this area and not go into this area just so it can be a little lifted. And this bronzer is really good because I can kind of take my time with it. And then there. I can't tell if this shade is too dark for me or not. Let me know in the comments. If you guys have any recommendations for like cool toned bronzer, I am open into trying more. I also don't know if I've started to wear more, oh, look at my hand, but I've started to kind of dabble in with silver jewelry. This is my gold hand, but I don't know which one I am. Maybe I should go to one of those places where they like give you all the deets. The next thing is blush. I'm gonna do the Pocket Blush from Rhode and Freckle. And that's where I apply everything. And then I use the same brush and I kind of just do the same thing that I did with the bronzer. Same method, just a little bit higher. Now that that is all blended, I'm gonna go in with my concealer. Probably like 3 months ago, I started applying concealer after my bronzer and blush because I feel like I don't know what it does, but I feel like when I used to do it before, I would, like the blush and the bronzer would get like here. So now I don't know if it's really considered underpainting. It always changes. Sometimes I'll do my fingers, sometimes I'll do a brush like this, and sometimes I'll do a beauty blender. This is my method as of late, kind of going in with my finger, and then I'll go in with a beauty blender to just make sure it's all diffused. Oh wait, I forgot to tell you what the concealer was. This is the Slip Tint Concealer Corrector from Say Beauty. And then I'm gonna go in with the Huda Beauty powder. And I go in with a really tiny brush because I wanna be very precise about where I'm putting the powder because I love a glow. I don't wanna put it where it doesn't need to be. So I put it on my forehead, on my under eyes, by my nose crevices, and on my chin, because that's where I sweat the most. Then I go in with the Hourglass Ambient Luminous Bronze Light. I put this everywhere I put the contour. And then I put it on my nose. And then I go in with the Rare Beauty Soft Pinch blush in Hope. And I do this with a really light hand because this stuff is like really pigmented. Then I go in with the Professional Super Setter from Benefit, and I spray this all over my face. Oh, this is nice. Okay, that is my base. Now it's on to eyes. I really don't have to do anything when it comes to my eyebrows anymore because they're blonde. I bleached them probably in August or September. My brows something was always going on with them, and now they're bleached, so still there's always gonna be something weird going on with my eyebrows. When I was like 14, they were like laminated up and I didn't even shape them. I mean, I can put a picture, it was awful. When I was like 12, I trimmed them into like where you remember when people like cut the ends off? I did that, but people really did that so they could like draw sort of like a sharper brow. I just did it to have super tiny brows. I like the bleached eyebrow look. I think I look cooler. Maybe I'll brush them with this, but I don't slick them up. I don't fill them in. I just leave them be. Sometimes I'll pluck them to make them the tail a little bit thinner. Okay, but let's move on to eyes, which is my favorite part. Actually, first let's do freckles. I used to, when I was first using this, I applied them pretty harshly, but now they're just a little more diffused. I love this product so much. I got this off TikTok Shop, which I think it's the only thing I've ever gotten off TikTok Shop. This is the Marilia Scott water resistant faux freckles. Super good. My friend had these in her makeup bag. She let me use them and I loved it ever since. I do a little bit of highlight on the tip of my nose. Right there, this is the Benefit Cookie highlighter. Okay, are we ready for eyes? This is what I get the most comments about, is the eye makeup that I've been doing recently. So first, simple. I go ahead, curl my lashes. This is my favorite gel eyeliner in the world. This is the Wet n Wild Breakup Proof Waterproof Reactable Gel. I love that it is named Breakup Proof. That's incredible. Waterproof retractable gel eyeliner. So that pretty much sums it up. This is in Brick, so it's kind of like a burgundy shade that I really, really love. $2 off of Amazon, you guys. My favorite eyeliner in the world. It's gonna be kind of hard, but I lift my eye up and I get my lash line focused on the outer part of my lash line. Do the exact same thing on my other eye. Then I go in with this brush that I'm trying to find the name of, but I can't, so this is what it looks like. And I go in with my favorite palette, which is the Makeup by Mario Neutrals. Yeah, the Neutrals eyeshadow palette. I go in with this color, and I apply this all over my eye. I apply it gradually just so I can get my preferred color, because these are super buildable. I apply it literally everywhere on my eye. There's no technique. Then I go back in with the Wet n Wild and I line my lash line. Oh my god, my mouth is gonna be open for this whole thing. Make a little line on my lash line. Then I connect it to here. I don't know what that's called. Then I wing it out. Then I make it slightly thicker and connect it to here. Makeup is like literally a science. Like, this is crazy. Okay, and then I do the same thing on this eye. Both of those wings are done. This is, I feel like, the fun part of what I do with my eyes. I go in this inner corner. I first just go in right there at the top lash line. Then I make a line in my inner corner. So that is the difference, which I think it just looks a little more cool. And then I do the same thing on this eye. And when I first started doing the inner corner thing, I would kind of leave it, but I think it's a little bit too harsh when you leave it. So I like to go in with this little brush just to make sure that there's no crazy harsh lines. I'm gonna go back in with the eyeshadow and just apply the same shade, but more focused in my crease, just to darken it up a little bit. I have two of these bad boys. One of them is slightly dried out and the other is new. Something I prefer is to start with one that's kind of dried out and get like into your roots, and then I'll go over that with the fresh one and it gives it that like length. Wiggle that into my root like that. And then I'll do the same thing with the other eye. Just wiggle it on in there. Focused a little more on the outer part of my lashes, but not anything too crazy. And then like that, I wait for that to dry a little bit and then I'll go over it one more time with the drier one. I'll wait for that to dry and then I'm gonna go in with the new one. I learned this from my sister. She does her whole eye, but I like to, in the inner corner, kind of just pinch them a little bit. I don't know what the science behind it is, but I feel like it just looks so cute. So like, there it's a little pinched. Mascara is always something that I'm reapplying and like just adding so many layers to. I love a clumpy lash. I'm a clumpy lash girl. That is the eye look all completed. I might go in with more mascara like I always do. A lot of people ask about this too. This is the MAC lip liner in Stone. This is a cool tone brown, which I love. I never even considered using cool tone brown lip liner, but I feel like it complements my skin tone a little bit better. Guys, I've also been seeing people like recreate my makeup look, which I think is so cute. I think I'm gonna do a little bit more bronzer on my nose like this. This is my finished makeup look. I hope you guys followed along or just enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.